Greetings. Today I will be discussing about the most important package in Python, that is Pandas. So what do we actually understand by Pandas? Pandas is an open source library that is made mainly for working with the relational or labeled dataset both easily and intuitively. It provides various data structures and operations for manipulating numerical data and time series. So the first step after installment of the pandas into our system is to import the library. So this module is generally imported as import pandas as PD. Then we will run this code. Now we will be reading a file from this system to work on it. So as Panda provide us with the two data structures, series and data frame. So I will be explaining how data frame is created by taking an existing data from this storage. So for this, I will be importing file with the function read CSV. So I will be reading the file. So just I will pass the command read the file. Now the code will be df is equal to pd read CSV. So the data set I have already uploaded in this Jupyter platform. So just I will be writing its name. So the name of that data set is blog dataset.csv file. So now I will be running this code to get the data set. So here is the output. So this df I have used just to store this whole function in the particular variable to make it easier to access in every function. Now we will be going to work on this data set. So the first function I will be using is head function. So I'm just passing the comment head function. So what this head function is used for, the function help us to get the first n number of rows of the given data set. So in order to get the rows, we are just specifying the number of rows we want. So the function we are going to use is df dot head of, suppose I want the first 5 rows. So I will be just typing here 5 and then I will be running this function. So here I am able to access the first 5 rows of the given data set. Now, the second function I will be going to use is tail function. So what this tail function is used for, it is just opposite of this head function. So if we want to access the rows from the bottom of this data set, we will be using the tail function. So what will be the code of this function for this tail function is df is df dot uh, tail. Suppose I want the first 4 from the bottom 4 rows I want of this data set. So I will be typing here 4. Then I will be running this code. So I will be able to access the last 4 rows of this data set. Third function I will be using is describe function. So in order to get the descriptive statistics of the data in the pandas data frame, I will be using the describe function. So to get a quick overview, it summarizes the central tendency and dispersion. So describe function. The code for this function will be df dot describe. Then I will be running this code. So I will just get the summary statistics of the given data set. So we are able to assess the central tendency and the dispersion. So here we can see that we are getting like mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum values, percentile. So we are able to get the whole description of the data set. Now the third function I will be using is df dot shape function. So what this shape function is used for, to know how much number of rows and columns are present in the given data set, we will be using the shape function. So what will be the code of this shape function? So this shape function will be df dot shape. Just simply we will type df dot shape, and then we will run it. So we are able to know that there are 9 rows in this data set and 8 columns in this data set. So this shape function help us to tell if we are having a big amount of data, then we are able to know with this function ki how many rows and columns are there in the data set. Now the next function I will be using is memory usage. So what this memory usage function is used for, it returns a Panda series having a memory usage of each column in a Pandas data frame. Using this function, we can get actual space taken by each column. So in simple words, what is this? The function used for, this function help us to tell how much the particular column is occupying the space in the data set. So just for using, or just to get how much usage it is requiring, we will just type the df dot memory usage. Df dot memory. So here we can see that name is occupying the 72 space, means 72 this shell is occupied by name. Age is occupying 72 shells. Like in the same way, we can get how much memory and each column name is occupying. So the next function which I will be using is n unique function. So what this n unique function is used for, to get the total unique values of variable, we can use this function. So it will give us the all the unique value a variable contains. So I will just pass the comment n unique function. So the code of this function will be df dot n unique, and we will just run this function. So we can see that name variable is unique, using the 8 unique values in it. Similarly, the age function is using the 7 unique values in it. So with this function, we are able to get how many unique values a variable is using or containing. So the next function which I will be using now is value count function. So what this value count function is used for? So in the previous code, we can see that we have taken the unique values of all the column names. Like name is using 8 values, age is using 7 values. Now, similarly, now if we want to get SS of like a single variable, unique value used by single variable. So what we will be using? So we will be using the value count function. So for this, we will be using the value count. So I'm just passing the comment value count. The code for this function will be print df dot salary. What is salary here? Salary is one of the column name. Salary dot values counts. Now we will just run this function. So here we can see that salary, the amount salary 35,000 is been having the 2 unique value, means it has been repeated 2 times. 50,000 it is repeated 1 time. Like in the same way we can see how many times the each value is being repeated. Now, suppose if we want to assess the group of rows and columns in a data set, what we can do? So now for this, we will use the log function. So suppose if we want to get an access of last 2 rows and the first 3 columns of a data set, we will be using this function to know how many group of rows and columns that particular data set is using. So for this, the code of this log function will be df dot log. This 0 is to 4 is the number of rows and columns which we are using. So, and this name, age, state is the column name. The first three column names we need. Now we will be running this function. So here we can see the name, age, and state, like a group. We can see a group of rows and columns of this data set. So like we have been assessing the first two, last two rows and first three columns. So we are getting this output. Now, if we want to sort the column by its values in ascending or descending order, we can use the sort value function. So in order to do that, we will be using the sort value function. So we will be sorting the column with its values. So which will be the having the higher value. If we want to sort it in descending order, then higher value will be on top as compared to the lower values. So the function will be here we are using this in place variable, and we will be assigning it as true because to avoid the use of this function on the other data set. It will be working on the original data set, the data set which we have uh, which we have inserted or which we have imported in this particular data set, Jupyter. Now we can see that we have sorted this data according to the name. Like see, we can see like A, B, C, G. It is arranged in an alphabetical order. Now, if we want to group the panda data frame by one or more columns and perform some mathematical operation, we will be using the group by function. So this group by function will be grouping the one or more column together. So how we can do this? We will be using the group by function. So how to use that function? Let us see. The code for that function will be df dot group by. So we will be grouping by state and the second variable will be salary. So suppose we want the mean of this salary according to the state wise. So let us see what output we will get. Oh, sorry, here I made a mistake. Instead of this comma, here the full stop will be coming. The dot, simply a dot. Then we will be running this function. Now, yeah. Now we can see this data has been grouped according to the state wise. Means we can see the salary has been grouped based on the state. So here are the 10 functions which I have explained of the pandas packages. Thank you.